Well, today is Halloween, and for this occasion, I'm going to review Castlevania Lords of Shadow. First, some background. Thanks to poor sales on their latest 3D Castlevania games, Konami decided to reboot the franchise. Spanish game studio MercurySteam had been creating their own intellectual property, but was reformatted into a Castlevania game with the help of Hideo Kojima, the creator of the Metal Gear franchise. He oversaw the production and made many changes to the game, leaving us with what we got. Anyway, what's the story? Earth has been cut off from the heavens, leaving the souls of the dead forever trapped in the mortal realm, and giving unholy abominations free rein to prey upon the human race. In these dark times, humanity's only hope lies in Gabriel Belmont, a member of the Brotherhood of Light, who is the chosen one of a prophecy involving a pure-hearted warrior who will defeat the Lords of Shadow and use their powers to restore balance to the world. Gabriel himself has a personal reason for taking this quest. His wife Mary had been killed, and he hopes pieces of an ancient relic called the God Mask, which the Lords of Shadow have in their possession, will give him a way to bring his love back, and thus Gabriel braves through many challenges as he comes closer to fulfilling his destiny. His terrible, tragic destiny. Now for the presentation. The graphics look beautiful, with a lot of impressive details and work put into them. The environments and character models look great for the most part, though some of the areas like the Land of the Dead can get a bit repetitive in level design, and some character designs are a bit iffy, at least for the vampires. The soundtrack is done by Spanish composer Oscar Araujo, and his music is amazing, fitting the mood of the game well and capable of a great range of emotions, from calming and soothing to action-packed depending on the situation. He even manages to subtly bring in some of the old Castlevania music into the game, like the Vampire Killer theme for the music box section of the game. The voice acting is great, with some truly spectacular performances from Patrick Stewart as Zobek, Natasha McElhone as Mary, I'm sorry if I got her name wrong, and Alexander Mikic as Pan, just to name a few. However, the main credit goes to Robert Carlyle as Gabriel. His performance sounds a bit odd at first, but he brilliantly portrays the character, giving him a lot of gravitas and perfectly capturing his descent into darkness and despair as the game goes along, especially during the DLC sections of the game. If you played games like Devil May Cry or God of War, you'll have a pretty good idea what to expect from this game. The game is divided into various chapters, with your main quest being to reach the Lords of Shadow and defeat them to gain pieces of the God Mask. Each of these sections have levels that you must progress through, with a final area that usually has a boss fight. Your main weapon for combat is the Combat Cross, basically a multi-purpose chain whip that can be upgraded at any time and can be used to perform different functions important to getting through the game. You can use direct attacks for single enemies and area attacks when surrounded by them, or you can combine both styles to perform various combos. You also have secondary weapons such as knives, holy water, and other items that can be upgraded. In addition, you have a light and shadow magic system, which basically powers up your combat cross with either defense or aggressive magic spells. There are points where you'll need to do some platforming and solve puzzles, otherwise it has a very linear level design. There are problems with the game. The combat and levels can get very repetitive at certain points. Some areas drag on for too long, and some of the puzzles aren't really all that good or are too cryptic, though thankfully you can skip the major puzzles. At the beginning of each level you get a narration from Patrick Stewart regarding the situation, and though he's great, I would have liked to have actually seen what he was talking about rather than being told about it. Show don't tell, people. I dislike the fact that the last two chapters of the game are sold as DLC instead of being in the game proper, especially since they're mostly short and provide important plot elements, namely the final fate of Gabriel Belmont. The biggest problem with the game is the QuickTime events. These QuickTime events are required for a majority of the game, from finishing off enemies and bosses to opening gates. This mechanic makes parts of the game that would be relatively easy artificially harder, dragging out the game longer than needed. Quite frankly, if it weren't for these QuickTime events, the game would have had a higher score. Castlevania Lords of Shadow is a good game, an excellent, downright tragic story and impressive presentation with decent gameplay dragged down by mediocre sections and QuickTime events. Whether it's a good Castlevania reboot, I'm not sure if I can answer, since I've never really played a Castlevania game before this one. But I think it stands on its own as a solid title. Now, unlike Mecha Anime reviews, these game reviews will have a score system from now on. Knights of the Old Republic has an 8 out of 10, while this game has a 6.5 to 7 out of 10.